Hello, everyone. Welcome to CXO Spice. CXO Spice is a platform for thought leaders to share their point of view on innovation and explain how to make it happen in the real world. Today's topic is making AI real. Our special guest today is Satish H.C., EVP Co-Delivery Head at Infosys. Hi, Satish. Welcome to CXO Spice.
Hi, Helen. It's my pleasure to be with you on your channel, CXO Spice, today.
Yeah, where are you? Which part of the world are you in today, Satish?
I'm based out of Bangalore in India.
Wow, welcome. So that's late evening. So tell us about your background and what led you to tech and Infosys.
Yeah. But first, let me start with, it's a great pleasure discussing about the Infosys Radar Data and AI Survey and the interesting work we are doing in the data and AI space at Infosys. About me, I've been with Infosys for close to 3 decades now. I started my career at Infosys post my graduation in electronics engineering. In my current role, I have a leadership responsibility for delivery of Infosys services globally. Programming caught my eye very early in high school, and I continued on my learning and experimentation through my grad school years, thanks to my circle of friends. Then taking the leap into software was due to brand and the aura of Infosys as I was finishing my graduation. I joined Infosys since this was an aspiration brand in the 90s, and it was a North Star goal for me. At Infosys, these 3 decades, it's been a continuous learning and development and new career growth and opportunities across various generations of technologies, from mainframe to client server to internet to digital, to the current confluence of AI, cloud, digital, 5G, and blockchain stack.
Wow, delighted to have you here, Satish. 3 decades. That's really wealth of knowledge that we can benefit from. By the way, I came across the Infosys Data Plus AI Reader report recently, was very fascinated by the insights. It says that companies can generate over $460 billion in incremental profit if it takes 3 action steps. Right, before we unpack the 3 steps, could you share how this research came about and what Infosys' role in this research?
Yeah, this research was originated with our Infosys Knowledge Institute. It is our internal think tank and research arm. As part of the Knowledge Institute general study of technology, we keep a tab on Horizon 1, 2, 3 technologies. We noticed an acceleration in companies adopting AI to be more sentient, to be more agile, and drive new business value. So this led us to assess the state of data and AI in business globally via a survey of about 2,500 plus AI practitioners and interviews with more than 50 AI experts across a cross-section of industry, academia, and Infosys itself.
Wow, and that's why it's such a meaningful insights, right? So now let's unpack the 3 action items that unlock this $467 billion incremental profit. Start with the first one, improve data practice. What does that mean? Where should a company start?
Yeah, interesting how you framed this question. Recently, Infosys worked with Tennis Australia to transform the Australian Open into one of the most technologically advanced sporting events in the world. And this was possible by systematic strategy to acquire, build, harness reliable data to train the AI models, enabling us to create that next way to play, see, train, and engage players and fans of the Australian Open. In another of our experience of implementing an AI-based recommendation engine for a US-based food and beverage CPG, we found that there weren't requisite levels of engagement from digital consumers, and they faced a high bounce rate. This was due to poor quality of data and the type of data that was being used. There were several fragmented and siloed consumer preference data across 200 plus digital touch points that were not properly leveraged. So a connected data fabric is what we put in place to help this client to connect and correct the imbalances and connect the data so that improved engagement by about 12%, and it helped them reduce bounce rate by over 23%. So we know that AI enhances quality of prediction, but for doing this, it requires a trusted data foundation that is free of any bias, has variety and volume. A strong data foundation as a service is fulcrum to scale AI across the enterprise. And this data foundation helps to realize a privacy first, a trusted data fabric powered by autonomous data stream processing, smart data governance, unified metadata search, domain data services, and safe collaboration.
Wow, 23% bounce rate reduction. That's impressive result, right? It sounds easy. I know what you just said there. I know it involves in a lot of strategic thinking, implementation, and I'm glad that Infosys was able to help your customer to make that happen. So let's talk about the second action step, right? That is to build trust in autonomous and advanced AI. So what does that mean to you, and how can company make that happen at scale?
Yeah, I strongly believe that trust must be built into advanced AI processes. And the same is very evident from our survey responses. If AI is not explainable, then in the real world, the probability of its output to be put to work will diminish tremendously. It's a dirty little secret in the AI community that many models get built, and despite providing promising results, they end up being either abandoned or unused due to lack of trust. So very recently, a UK FMCG brand partnered with us to provide cutting edge revenue growth model and pricing functionalities to their business users. They demonstrated to the business users in select markets how data analytics and AI can help predict market movements, white spaces in the market, and price trends with higher accuracy. This proof of concept and business collaboration, I stress on the word, the business collaboration, helped convince the business leaders to roll out this program across multiple geos and start using this as a tool. So yes, trust is a very key ingredient required to successfully scale AI from isolated successes to rapid democratization at the enterprise level. And for doing so, enterprises have to build the trust in data that we previously discussed, collaborate with business in the process of building the solution, improve explainability of black box systems, have MLOps strategy to ensure continuous data drift detection and correction, and of course simulate and build what if features to allow business to interact with model results and experiment so that they are comfortable. So let me also summarize by saying that the four pillars of trust, ethics, privacy, and compliance are the cornerstones of data and AI powered economy.
Well, I can relate to what you just said, Satish. I actually started working with AI company since 5 years ago. We talk about the third action step is to integrate AI with business operations. This one is where I see the most struggle with companies I work with. Could you share why it is so important, what companies can do to better integrate AI with business operations?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Integration with business process is key for success of AI adoption, and I'll be a little more elaborate when I talk about this. AI impacting business processes can happen at many levels. I have seen many of our clients experiment with AI at use case level. This use case based approach can increase the efficiency of existing processes, but it is not highly impactful. However, if you take a function-based approach where the entire business function, let's say it's product development or fraud detection, it can, you can completely reimagine that business with AI at the core and this will lead to higher order results. And finally, you can also scale this to reimagine your business model itself. For example, it could be IoT based health monitoring or new treatment approach, etc. So as you traverse this journey, there is an exponential increase in benefits and value as we go from use case to a function to a system based approach. And I'll give a couple of examples to see, how we are seeing customers rethink business models, keeping AI at the core, so that you can, benefit from it. A beverage company that we work with embarked on our transformation journey from being only a beverage company to a beverage drinking experience company, and digitizing some of their core business processes like merchandising or digital order handling or supply chain and fulfillment. But the pandemic accelerated this journey for them because they actually embarked on connecting the last mile of food delivery, so that if people were not able to come to their cafes, they could deliver food to wherever the client was. And then they went one step further. They were missing out on the experience that they were missing in the cafe. So they enabled the playlist that which they would have otherwise experienced in the cafe on their app. So when they were experiencing the beverage, they could still relive the playlist experience. And then they went even further. They also wanted to be a network player, and they unleashed the possibilities of ordering food from other providers so that they continue to engage and manage the customer experience. So what this tells us is, this is a classic example of how they extended the value chain and also helped them create a new business model, all in the middle of a crisis. Another example I would like to give is one of our other CPG customers who reimagined their new product development process. They optimized the recipe ingredients and identified new product variants by understanding competitor formulations, customer perceptions, and preferences. And to do this, what we did was we leveraged the science behind food and nutrients, processed the digital interactions on social media. We looked at the customer preference and propensities through recipes on digital channels. We looked at regulatory requirements through USDA and nutrition labels of packed foods, including competition. With this AI-led or data-powered R&D, our client was able to identify and launch new products in a much faster time frame, with about 30 to 50% premium on new product variants. And these are not just one-off examples. We see this patterns across many of our clients who are successfully doing it. So the ones who have successfully integrated and embedded AI at the core of their business functions they would have reimagined the way they do business, exploring new opportunities brought by AI. They would have involved domain experts throughout the process, and they would have set up constant feedback mechanisms from business stakeholders, and they would have ensured cross-functional collaboration. And it is evangelized by key initiatives amongst all the key stakeholders.
Well, it's encouraging to hear that it's possible to be successful, right, at scale. So I'm a firm believer in that growth thrives at the intersection of technology and humanity. So I'm so excited about hearing this success because so we can only make AI real if there's tangible business value. You mentioned about this multiple times today. Can you share specifically about a customer story?
Yeah. So, before I answer this, I would also want to say one more thing about integrating with business operations. See, if we really are leveraging AI to its fullest power, then it is evident in examples where you're using AI to not only work with the digital clock speed or deal with exponential volume. Because if you don't have AI, you cannot run a business operations or a business model which needs that kind of clock speed and deal with that kind of volume. And there are ample evidence of examples that we are seeing with our clients where wherever customers made that investment and put it in the heart of their business operations, they were able to deal with a different speed and agility and volumes that they were not able to do with human in the loop. Now, coming back to this question, yes, let me give you a few examples from across industries, as AI successes are very contextualized to the industry that they are implemented in. For one of the oil and gas client who's transitioning from fossil fuels to renewables, and they're rethinking about the business value chain. And look at their problem. While they shift from renewables, uh, shift to renewables, it's not just about the change in midstream or upstream, the energy production, solar, wind, or whatever. The real disruption is actually happening in downstream. When you and I are, consumers of energy, we just go today, with fossil fuels, we just go to the pump, fill it in 5 minutes, and then we walk away. But now when we shift to, renewables, first of all, the charging time or fueling time, as we call it, will increase 20 minutes to 60 minutes. And the revenue of the new energy is a fraction of what it was with fossil fuels. So the client is actually dealing with reduced revenues. And what do you do with the customer? How do you engage the customer during the time that they are with you? And how do you use this as an opportunity to maximize cross-sell and upsell and be relevant to the customer when they are engaged with you? So we are working with them with many of those exploration opportunities where we're trying to create new experiences for its consumers, whether it is in planning, merchandising, given their needs and propensity, or creating network effect through other brand partners, so that we are addressing all the customers' needs. Some of the things that we're doing is like we're using computer vision to understand customer behavior inside a retail store, and how do we improve the experience and cross-sell, upsell. Now, another example I want to give is for a logistics conglomerate, which is focused on transportation, e-commerce deliveries, and third-party logistics services. They faced a unique situation recently where 30% of their business got wiped out with increased competitiveness and disruption. So the way they dealt with this is, we helped them build an intelligent logistics network for last mile delivery, where they exposed that last mile supply chain network to newer channels, giving them a resilient and a responsive solution where they were assured delivery timeframes. And because of this responsiveness and resilience, they were able to tap new demand, and they were able to hook on to other networks despite a 30% volume decline all of a sudden. This allowed them to actually service millions of packages per day, more than what they were doing across 200 plus countries, and providing intelligent operations and predictions. And their accuracy went up to about 94% with 100% coverage for what they do, which is significantly higher than what they were doing from a delivery, predictiveness, with the current business model. So these are classic examples of how this is being used to drive business value across many, many customer segments whenever it is successfully implemented.
Wow, I worked at oil and gas downstream at Oracle back in late 1990s, right? At the time, we have to go to these convenience stores to figure out customer behavior. Time has changed, right? Now you can do research and leveraging AI and data to figure out consumer behaviors much more robustly. So actually, these two examples are great examples for us to talk about the current economy, right? Because companies now are more cash focused and less aggressive on investment. But what I heard from you, because automation should continues to be a priority, deploying AI could be intimidating unless you have leaders who can provide the guidance, right? What is your recommendation on where to start to make AI real?
Yeah, no, I think we need to keep that pivot with business value, in our frame of reference all the time. So, while companies are tightening their belts or investment, they're also balancing that against value delivered. And sometimes, like one of the earlier examples I gave, maybe the investments actually help them overcome the tightening of budgets because they were able to, deliver a lot more revenue. So it is both and not one versus the other. So let me elaborate. So despite the downturn, investments and data and AI will continue because this is the biggest silver bullet that enterprises have, to stay relevant to the changing challenges and realities of economy today. So there is a spectrum from automation to autonomy. Automation is all about delivering incremental value through efficiency and productivity gains, whereas autonomy is about reimagining systems like we discussed earlier with AI as a foundational core. In the current economy, short-term business objectives will be focused on cost savings and efficiencies instead of experience enhancements, and hence that focus on automation. But that automation actually may lay the foundation for you to do something bigger, which is, we already spoke about inventory reduction, supply chain efficiencies, and logistical efficiency, etc. Forward-looking companies continue to build on this and leverage that opportunity to reimagine their systems with AI at the core, having made that investment in automation. So this is transformational and leads to that flywheel effect. As these systems get used, more and more data is generated, and their ability to predict gets better, and there is a continuous improvement. And that will become a competitive differentiator, which will make it difficult for others to replicate and catch up. So the quintessential realization of network effects is all this is about. So whether it is incremental or transformational, I think we need leaders who can focus on realizing business outcomes, leveraging AI as a tool to realize these outcomes. And they should be focusing on the softer issues of AI adoption, like acceptability, social norms, biases, ethics, and trust, and create mechanisms that they can help adopt AI at scale. And some of this we touched upon earlier during the conversation. To summarize, in my experience, I think today data and AI provides a fantastic leverage for enterprises to not only become sentient and cognitive, because if you become sentient and cognitive, you become very agile. You become very amenable to agile. And because you're agile, you're able to react and respond to either a crisis or an opportunity. And you have this opportunity to unleash the network effect and create new business models, which is your pathway for success for the future.
Well said, Satish. Thank you for sharing for these meaningful insights today. Here are the key takeaways from our conversations. As highlighted by Infosys Data and AI Reader Survey, businesses today have great expectations from data and AI, right? That actually has become a new pivot for transformation. Your thoughts on how the companies must think differently about data AI, from getting the data right to building trust in autonomous and advanced AI to focusing on business value resonate very well with me. And I would like to ask our audience, where do you stand on your data and AI journey, right? To find out, you can take the Infosys Data AI Reader experience. The link will be shared in the comment after during the video. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Stay hungry, stay bold, and stay grateful.